Okie pokey. If you've seen any of my work online, you'll know that I have a great love for the HD25. Always have done, probably always will do. These are so nearly the perfect DJ headphone. But they've always had kind of one design flaw, which has recently become more annoying because they fixed it and now they've introduced another one. So don't get me wrong, these are super durable. We get lots of pairs of these in that are like 10 years old for refreshes and stuff, and they last and last and last. The problem that people tend to have, the known problem for these, is with the socket that the headphone cable plugs into. And traditionally, on the older ones, you would have two gold poles which were connected to the voice coil. They kind of came down, and then you had the voice coil of the driver. And what you would have is a spring which had a little arm on it like that, and on the other side, and the cable which had so you've got a cable like that which has got two pins which press down into these springs to get a contact. And it's nice and simple. The problem was, over time these springs might get a bit loose, so you end up with gaps and you get a bad connection, or you might get some grease and grime, hair product, whatever, because these sockets are at the top and DJs tend to have spiky hair. You get hair product and stuff all like in between the parts, which gives you a bad connection because you've got a connection between the pins and the springs and the poles, so you've got multiple areas where stuff can go wrong. But the good thing was it was normally easy to fix. You could kind of tweak the springs a bit and they would get tighter, or you could just give everything a good clean, pull it in, push it, pull it out, put it back in again. It would start working again. Then in 2020 they updated the driver. So hold on, I've got one of the old drivers here. You can have a quick look. So this one's partially dismantled, but you can see those gold poles there, and then there were springs that attached to those. And this is one of the voice coil wires. I don't know if you can make it out, but it's like this red wire here, and they were incredibly thin. And the problem was occasionally we sell a lot of modifications to these, and if people open them up, they would occasionally break one of those voice coil wires, which are very thin and easy to break without even noticing, and they were almost impossible to fix because they're made of aluminium and soldering them is really difficult. So they would open them up to kind of try and give stuff a clean or something, and they'd break the voice coil wires. But we found some fixes for it, which meant that you didn't need to open it up. You could do it all through there without danger of damaging them. But it did mean that you could open these up and modify them, add weights and stuff, which is what we used to sell, to make them sound even better. Then in 2020 they changed the design of the driver, and the early 2020 models are the best ones, I feel. So what they did was they did away with these gold poles, and they did away with these exposed thin wires here, and what they did was they soldered fatter wires. Let's make that fatter. They soldered fatter wires directly to the springs. So these little stakes that come up, they soldered it to there. So then you've got one less point where you could get dirt in the connection. So now the only thing was the pins. So giving stuff a clean would be great. You could open these up because those are big fat wires. You couldn't break them. And those wires connect to a little circuit board underneath the driver. On the new ones, let's just open this up. So this is one of the latest drivers where they've introduced a new fault, which is a bit annoying, but the design is basically the same as the ones from early 2020. So as you can see on this one, the driver is a separate component. On this one, the driver is built in, so it's molded in. This one is a separate one that's clipped in. And you can see there you got nice fat wires, and I can poke away at those and they won't break. So it connected to the circuit board, and then from the circuit board, let's say that this is the driver. from the circuit board, the wires would then, the little thin voice coil wires would go up and over and to the voice coil on the other side. So these were tucked away so you couldn't damage them, had nice big fat wires there. Overall, brilliant, because they've got rid of one point where you can get dirt, which causes a bad connection, and they've also hidden away these voice coil wires and with much fatter wires exposed. Excellent. Solved two problems. Then, unfortunately, they've added an extra component which has undone all of the good work that they did before. Now, on the latest ones, which are made in Romania, they have gone too far. You can see here they've added a squidgy kind of glue in there. Now, I'm not sure what that's bringing to the party, why they did it, because it didn't seem to need it before. But the problem that you get is that now, where those delicate voice coil wires are, they end up gluing them. So the glue ends up sticking to the voice coil wires, and then if there's too much flex in this, because you can see it's got a bit of flex to it, so if you drop these or something and that body flexes, you can see that the glue pulls away the voice coil wires on some drivers. So yeah, so they've used too much glue in there, it's touching the voice coil wires, and when you do that, it instantly breaks, and that is not fixable. That's not repairable. If that happens, it's game over for this driver. So that has introduced a design flaw into an otherwise brilliant driver, just by adding this glue. So they could save time by having one less process in the building. They wouldn't need to put that glue in, and it would make the headphones more durable. Sennheiser aren't the kind of company who are going to do something to make their headphones break. You know, Sennheisers generally last for years, and they've got a bit of a reputation for making indestructible headphones, and they would be stupid to introduce something that made their headphones deliberately less durable. So I think that, I think they had the best intentions with putting the glue in. Maybe they were worried about vibrations over time, messing with the solder joints. So gluing them, maybe they thought that would help. But unfortunately, it has meant that we are seeing occasional drivers that just die and they are unrepairable, which is a bit annoying. Also, it means that we can't sell our mass loading and damping kits anymore, because I'm a little bit worried about people opening these up and potentially, causing a bit of flex in the driver, and it can just kill it straight away. We do it in the workshop. We can open them safely. There's no reason necessarily for you to open these unless you are modifying them, so it's not necessarily a problem. I can see there being a thing where, like, if these had a really hard knock in the wrong place, it's going to cause flex in the thing, which is going to pull the voice coil drivers away. So a really hard knock could do that, and it's not every pair. It's just the occasional pair. I think it just depends who was squirting the glue in. But yeah, there's a lot that have now got excessive glue, which has the potential to break the voice coil drivers. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a shame because I really love these, and obviously I'm still going to keep doing them. And we haven't seen a huge increase in people contacting us with broken drivers. The only problem is, I think because they've done this, they've kind of fixed a lot of the issues that one had. So they're probably still getting a similar amount of drivers die with this new problem than they had with the old one. But the old one was nice and easy. I could just say, I'll give your springs a bit of a clean and a wibble, and they were back to normal. Whereas these new ones, once it's dead, it's dead. There's no coming back from the grave for these ones. So it's a bit of a shame. I am trying to kind of find who in Sennheiser I could talk to about this, to see if I can get them to reduce, or just remove the glue. There's no need for the glue. Just remove the glue so that's not a problem. It'd be interesting to see if I manage to get through to anyone. It's a bit difficult because obviously I'm in the UK. All of my Sennheiser contacts are UK Sennheiser, but the people who make all the decisions are in Germany, and the people who actually build them are in Romania. So the chance of me talking to someone who's going to talk to someone else who's going to get something actually done is pretty low. But you never know, if this video gets really super popular, Sennheiser might see it and go, oh yeah, we could just put less glue in there. That's, that would make our headphones perfect. So share this with other people. See if we can get back to Sennheiser, see if we can get them to stop putting the glue in there. Make their headphones even better, because as I said, the early 2021's the best and most reliable ones they've ever made, and they were already a very reliable headphone, but the early 2021's I feel were, you know, just perfect, and now they've kind of introduced another element which has brought that, you know, down. So yeah, please subscribe, tell your friends. I'm trying to get a bit more YouTubey. And also, you know, let's see if we can get this changed. Let's see, as a team, if we can get this design changed back to how it was. All right.